Hi everyone, Christos here with Be Better at BI. Today I want to discuss a request that came through in my queue the other day from a pharmacy customer. Real quick, it was a request to get a lot of data, and the requester was then taking this data dump that I had created for him and manually making a whole bunch of changes into an Excel file in order to further manipulate the data to get what he needed. Now, I didn't know that at the time, but once I realized what was happening, I asked him to call a timeout so I could redevelop the code so that I could better help him, so I can help him be better at BI. So let's go ahead and transition to my screen for just a second. So what we're looking at here is my SQL development screen. Real quick, let me flash to an Excel file. So this is kind of sort of what I provided to my customers. You can see I gave this individual a big data dump. Now this is all one medication and they all kind of work the same way, but I want you to focus on these fields right here. So the gist of the issue was when this rate change happens, is the person who's changing the rate of the medication, are they adhering to this minimum and maximum titration as prescribed by the ordering provider? Okay, so he was manually going into these fields and then writing, manually putting in the number in here and putting number in here, then copying it down. It was a lot of extra work for him, and that brought me to a pardon me. That brought me back to a time that I had resolved this issue at a previous organization, and I had documented it and I was able to pull it back up. So a little ding, 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 OneNote is, if you're not using something like OneNote or Evernote or something like that, highly recommend it if you're an analyst or if you're a manager who needs to keep track of these types of things. Okay, so basically I've deleted a bunch of stuff here so that we're only looking at the base query here. I'm going to quickly go over what's happening, but if you really want to get into the detail of these codes, of these functions, excuse me, Microsoft has a lot of great information about all these codes. And here, I'll do a split screen for just a second. So you can see on Microsoft's page, you can go to this section here, and again, I'll put a link to it in the notes, where you can find char index, you can find length and len and substring, and we're going to discuss that here in a second. So real quick, so back to here. So as we look at titrate by, it's actually a nvarchar, right? It's 0.1-0.2 mcg kg hr. So how do we split this out? Some of you already know this, some of you don't. So let's do this for those who don't know how to do this. First thing is we want to grab everything left of the minus, okay? And this function, this char index function, is saying, hey, I need everything to the left. My key field here, my key character is this minus character, and now I need everything to the left of that, and I want you to start one character left of the dash, okay? So I don't want that dash in there. And as a result, I'm getting 0.1. If that were 2 digits, 0.11, this function still works because I'm starting at the minus, okay? And I know that there's a space between the last number and the minus, and that's where that 1 is helping me out. Little quick note, ABS, that absolute, right? If this field, if titrate by were empty, the query would bomb out and it wouldn't return any data. So by adding that absolute, instead of having a null field, I'm at least getting a 0. So the function is allowed to continue. Okay, the next thing is the max. The max is a little harder because we don't know which character that the first number will be. So we already know where the left is, okay? We know that. So we're going to use a substring function. Let me pull that website back up for just a second and let's go to substring. So to use substring, by default, we're looking at the expression, which is the field name, in this case, titrate by. And we need a place to start, right? And we need to know how long to look for. So if we're using this example, substring name 1 so master, so it would bring back, 1, okay, as the field. But if we went down to here, substring x equals A, B, C, D, E, F, we want to start at character 2 and go for 3 characters. Now you'll see down here we bring back B, C, D. Pretty awesome. All right, let's minimize this and let's go back to here. But here's where it gets a little tricky. So let's work backwards. It makes a lot more sense to work backwards. And here's how I do it when I'm teaching folks, when I'm discussing how to dissect these types of codes. I look at the parentheses. So by highlighting that parentheses, I see, okay, that's a substring. So what's that? Okay, so that is the inside of the substring. Okay, that's calculating, that's saying, okay, I want this field, okay, and then I'm doing those calculations, where to start and for how long to go. But again, if you bring your attention back to this titrate by, we don't really know. So we have to kind of figure this out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give a count. How many characters are there to the left, right, of the minus sign? But I want to add 2 spaces, okay? And then I'm saying, so that's where I want to start. So A is going to be my starting point, okay? Now, I also have this calculation right here. So that is basically what I'm looking at up here. And so I'm saying my starting point is going to be 7, okay? Now I'm going to say, well, how long do I want to go for? I'm starting at 7. How long do I want to go for? Well, that's B, right? But hold on for a second. B is actually kind of big, okay? B is actually B minus C minus D. So B is 19, okay? So I'm saying B, so substring titrate by starting at character 7, right? So character 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's at 0, okay? And I want to go for 19 minus 5, which is 14, minus 10, right, which is 4. So basically, all of this work to say substring titrate by, titrate the field, start at 7, and go for 4 characters, okay? And why am I doing it this way? Because, like I said, these digits could change. Right now, it's 0.01 and 0.02. Or I'm sorry, 0.1 and 0.2. But it could be 1.65. Or it could be 0.111. So yeah, so it is a lot of work. But if you copy and save these, and you kind of keep track of them, you don't have to rethink them too much. You may have to fiddle-faddle with the +1, +2, depending on the format of the data in the database. But again, our end goal here at Be Better at BI is to make us better analysts, make our managers better managers at managing business intelligence, and also to make our customers better customers at requesting and consuming business intelligence. So this falls into that category of helping our customers be better at BI. Again, Christos here. If you like this, you want to see more like this, or you're just interested in seeing more videos that I'm going to be coming up with in the future, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much.